This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Mountain in the heart of Times Square, you're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody. Welcome to Beach Talk Radio, episode number 96. Today is Saturday, January the 18th, 2020. We are broadcasting live from Beach Time Out on Fort Myers Beach, where the weather is perfect and the food is delicious. Please let us know on the Facebook where you are calling from or watching from or listening from in the live chat box. And today is the Putt and Pub Crawl Day. So if you're coming down to the beach, come down early. All the holes are being set up now, and the Putt and Pub Crawl starts in just an hour or two and goes on a good part of the morning. I have it written down. For all of our new listeners and viewers, all of our shows are archived as audio at our website, beachtalkradio.com, and all of our shows are archived as video on our Facebook page. We have a free app you can download on your iPhone, which makes all episodes easy to listen to with the click of a button. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Of course, thank you to all of our longtime sponsors, and that includes Pete's Time Out, FMB Designs and Remodeling, Shuckers at the Gulf Shore and the Cottage Bar, and Fort Myers Tiki Tours. So we'll get into all of our fun stuff in just a little bit, dear, but I did have a question for you before we start the show. Before we
did not tell me about this.
Before we have our what? Tell you about what? Oh, yeah, because I wanted to catch you off guard a little bit. So
Perfect.
I was at the gym yesterday, and I want to know what the proper gym etiquette is when you are working out at the gym and somebody 5 feet away has pretty much the worst BO that you've ever smelled in your life. What is the etiquette? Is the etiquette to say to them, hey, you have bad BO, or go to the owner of the gym and say, hey, that guy's got bad BO, or you just walk away and not say anything?
Number
what is the
three,
proper?
just walk away.
Do you know how disgusting that is? Like, the guy's, not only is he reeking the place up from whatever's going on, it's like, how do you not smell yourself? So
well, I think sometimes you can't smell yourself.
And there was somebody spotting him. Like, he was there with another buddy. Like, the buddy was spotting him.
Maybe they're
like,
both nose blind.
It was crazy. So, like,
you're very sensitive about that, though.
Then you get self-conscious. Like, now you're working out in the BO area. So then
you think it attaches to you?
No, well, then you're looking at other people, and other people are thinking, oh, he's the guy that has the BO because it's coming from that area. So I have to go find on
present in the moment and do your workout and get the hell out.
I did. I was doing my workout, but now I'm looking out of the corner of my eyes, because the last thing I want is for somebody to think I have the BO that's stinking up the gym. Knock it off.
Ugh.
Knock it off. I just think that, I mean, how do you let that happen? How do you let that happen?
I'm not sure everybody has the same hygiene standards that you do. And sometimes, listen, full transparency here, I carry deodorant in the car because once in a while you're in a hurry and you might forget. Don't worry, I didn't do that today. I'm totally covered. But sometimes you forget deodorant, and so you have it in the car, you have it in your gym bag, but it happens.
All right. Just let it go. Just let the BO go.
Can you imagine? I just would. What if you got punched in the nose?
I would want somebody to say, take me aside
somebody
and say,
hey,
listen.
Maybe somebody you know, but some perfect stranger.
You might not know this, but you might want to.
Maybe he would come up to you and say, you need to trim that beard.
Well, okay. Well, my feelings wouldn't be as hurt as the BO thing, but sometimes.
Hair.
All right, dear. Let's introduce our first guest, who smells very lovely. I don't think he's uncomfortable at all. He's looking at us like, why the hell did I agree to come on this show? All right, take it away.
All right. So with me today, we have Nathan Metcalf. I want to thank you so much for coming on down to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And I looked you up because I had seen some of your wonderful photographs on Facebook. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got started, all the good stuff.
Okay. I'm originally from Northeast Tennessee. Lived there most of my life. In my mid-20s, moved to Asheville, North Carolina for a few years, ended up going to Washington State for a few years, and then came here. So I was on the other side of the bridge for months, and I've been here since last April, so almost a year.
Wow. So now you live in Fort Myers Beach proper, so to speak. And how long have you been doing photography?
I would say focusing on photography, maybe 5 years now.
Okay.
Before that, I was really more into video, but just kind of playing around, nothing too serious.
And is this something that's always been an interest for you, or is this something that started as a hobby and then grew into a career? Did you go to school for it? What?
Well, yeah, it started kind of in school.
Okay.
I just thought digital media and some of the stuff that was in the program at the school I went to was interesting.
I told you.
Thank you. And I started out doing classes for 3D animation, web design, all kinds of stuff that I'm not into now. My last few semesters, I took a few video classes, got into that, and then just started working on stuff after I graduated, and then that turned into photography.
Great. And so you do photography now full time?
Yeah, photography and videography.
Okay. And so I saw some of the, many of the pictures, and will give everybody the information of where they can see your stuff and get a hold of you. But a lot of them are aerial shots. Well, I don't know a lot of them, but some of the ones I saw are aerial shots. Now that's with a drone?
Yeah.
So how does that work? Because so you have a camera, how do you see what's that's seeing?
So that's so pretty much any drone that has a camera on it has some kind of monitor. The one I'm using right now actually just uses your phone. You just plug your phone into the controller, and then there's an app for the specific drone I have.
Okay.
And it just, all your settings, your live view, everything's right there in front of you.
But it's not, is it a different drone? I mean, it's a drone that does photography specifically, or is it, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Photo and video, yes.
Okay. So, and then you use that to get all the, the aerial shots, and you also use that because part of your business is real estate.
Yeah. So a lot of what I do right now, especially what's keeping me afloat and paying the bills in between portraits and events, weddings, stuff like that, is real estate. And a lot of that is off the island. I do get a few things here on the island. I had one yesterday, but a lot of it is in Naples. I'd say the majority of it's in Naples.
So we need to get some people, the real estate folks here on the island, to hit you up. And
the real estate folks, the people that want portraits, that want weddings, events. I really like doing video and have had a lot of projects. So anyone that wants their business promoted, little short commercials, mini documentaries, music videos, live performances down here at the square. I love doing stuff like that.
And I saw there was one video on one of your pages where you wrote it and produced it, so you can do all of the production and that stuff as well to help people out. I
think probably one of the old silly Christmas
it might have been
Santa rap videos I used to do a few years back. Those were just for fun. But I'm really into the audio and everything. And here lately, I've just been so busy with other things I haven't had a chance to work on. But I'd really like to get some video projects underway.
And I saw some, it's a great opportunity for people who are down here, who live here and have a special event, or who are visiting and might have a special event going on, or a family gathering where they want to capture and preserve that memory. And then they can give you a call, and you work directly on the beach. You'll go wherever.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are asking for his phone number.
Well, all right. Just a minute. We're going to get it soon. But I want to mention, you actually won the cover of this.
Yeah,
so tell us how that went.
So you could submit up to 10 photos. I submitted 10. I think probably 4 of them were aerials similar to that, just from different sunsets on different days. And I think there was 350 entries, and they narrowed it down to 10 a month later, and then another month later, I just got I don't even think they told me. I think I came home and it was on my door, like 4 copies of it and a check, prize money, and
nice. All right, so give everybody all of your information so that they can start ringing your phone.
Okay. My name is Nathan Metcalf. On Facebook, it's Nathan Metcalf Photography. On Instagram, it's shred.sled. Shred is in shredded cheese. Sled is in what you ride in the snow far, far away from here. And my website is www.nathanmetcalf.com. I try to update it as much as possible, but I would say the Facebook and the Instagram are probably the... What's that? Yeah. My phone number is 423-737-6638. Oh, sorry.
You
737-6638. Email.
Yeah.
Email is nmetcalf516@gmail.com.
In like IN?
No, in like my first, like Nathan.
N.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought I heard
Letter
in.
N.
Sorry. So I want to ask, our daughter lives in Tennessee, in Chattanooga. How far were you raised from there?
So I was in the northeast corner, so I think at least 4 to 5 hours from either one of those places. About 5 hours from Nashville.
It's really beautiful. Did you do any photography up there, mountains and that kind of stuff, or has it mostly been down here?
You know, I have done some, but most of it was after I had left, went to Washington. And when I left Washington, I just did a cross-country road trip down the West Coast and then to Key West, literally as far from one corner of the country as you can go to another.
Nice.
And then,
how long did that take you?
I made it last about a month.
Nice.
And then my girlfriend at the time, she's from Key West, and we just took 7 or 8 months and went back and forth between Tennessee and Key West about 4 times over the course of 6 months after that.
Great.
So I got some good stuff in Tennessee, but mostly then. When I was living there, I was doing a little bit of video stuff, but not a whole lot of photography.
And with the photography, you offer different packages, or how does you don't have to give out prices, but pricing structure? Like, do you do packages for people? Do you create? Is it just dependent on what they want?
Yeah, I have some standard things I go by. It can kind of vary from person to person and project to project on what they want. Different levels of services. But I mean, yeah, I've got photo shoots on the beach that start at $75. I've got video packages that start at $200.
Okay.
So it just depends on what you want.
Well, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
down.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and love the photography, and hopefully people will be getting in touch with you.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on down.
Thanks very much, Nathan, and we'll make sure that we put your information on our website so people can get in contact with you for portraits or all the other
awesome
amazing stuff
you do. Thank you.
Great.
All right, thank you.
All right, now I wanted to update my information for the Putt and Pub Crawl. That's the 10th annual Putt and Pub Crawl that's taking place today, and it starts at 10 o'clock, and the cost is $225 for a 4-person team, and of course all that money goes to charity, so all the nonprofits on the beach. So if you want to come on down to the beach and enjoy, I think it's like 9 holes. Let me see, can you count? Nervous Nellies, Peach Time Out, Mangaritas, La Ola, Matanzas on the Bay. Wait, Matanzas on the Bay is 1. The Whale, Plaka, Pierside, Yucatan, and the Salted Crab. How many is that?
I think that's 11.
Oh, okay. Well, 11 holes. Well, you probably have a drink or two at each one. So drink up, enjoy, and remember, it's all for charity. So
there's
come
a
on
lot.
down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are they? And that would be something we should know that
Right.
if they have any openings
So
left.
just for people's knowledge, for all our non-listeners and people that are watching and really wasting a complete hour of their life today and every Saturday morning, we've come up with a plan for the
You
show.
have?
Our new plan we came up with this plan last weekend. Our plan is, while the election is going on, we're going to have a candidate on every Saturday at 9:30. Today we have Bill Veach coming on.
Okay.
Almost every candidate has agreed so far, minus one. But
Well,
the first half hour of the show, you're in charge of getting guests on that interests you. I want you to take hold of this thing by the horns. And so your first guest was a photographer. And so that's why we are here right now. Jan wanted to be on the show, so we always have time for Jan.
That's right. We'll make time. And to anyone who would like to be on the show.
Oh, but you see, that's a
get
cop-out right there.
No,
You're
no,
asking
no.
for people to contact you. Everybody obviously wants to be on the show with you.
Well, then
let
me
but
know.
I mean, it has to be
Send me a
relevant to
private
something. Like I'm
well,
trying to
it's gotta
figure
be
out.
relevant to the beach.
I'm trying to figure out what we just witnessed here. I mean, what was I'm sorry, I dozed off a little bit. Is he from Fort Myers?
Yes.
Is he from the beach?
He lives here at the beach.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that was good. That was a good. That was
I-
score one for you there, right there.
Golly.
right.
And you lose points for not paying attention.
Back to you.
Oh, my
Welcome, Jen.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, I was going to
Good
step
Lord.
out of this little spat here
No.
for a
Well, I
bit.
know. And people don't like that. He's got to remember that. People don't like all of that. Yeah, you don't care. Baloney. So, I know you're great. So, today, what's going on at the library?
Oh my goodness, our big annual sale. We hold the sale 4 times a year. Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 2. We sell used books, puzzles, DVDs, CDs. We have a lot of merchandise from our used bookstore that is new. And this year we are teaming up with the Estero Island Garden Club.
Okay.
Which is an awesome thing. It brings in so many more people, diversity, and they are providing, they are selling baked goods and small plants. And they really have gone out of the way to put these plants in beautiful planters. So we want everybody to stop by either today or tomorrow and enjoy what we have. And
Do they have any of those, and you may not know, which is fine, but the succulents, because those work well for me because they're so pretty. So now it says here that the price hardback books be $2.
Paperbacks are $1. And here's our little flyer. I don't know if anybody can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But and vintage books.
Yes, Maria, our executive assistant, she goes on the internet and she comes up with these vintage books.
Nice.
They could be worth a lot more than $5.
Right.
We don't know, but from a collector standpoint, if they come in, they probably would know. So, we want
even
people
as
to
a
check that
decorative
out.
element. I mean, I have an old high chair that's been in the family forever, and I have some just that I got wherever. I don't know. They could be worth something, could be worth nothing. But yeah, that I enjoy those. I mean, they're very nice. So, and let's see, what else? It says here about the friends of the library.
Exactly.
So your annual meeting?
Yes, we have an annual meeting,
Okay.
and that's occurring on January 27th at 5:30. Being a library, we thought it would be a great time to invite 2 local authors, and we're so happy to bring Monica Lynn in.
Okay.
If any of you know her, she is known as the Fairy Pod Mother. She is amazing. The photos she gets from her kayak, I call her the Dolphin Whisperer. She does presentations every month, January, February, March at the library, but she will be one of our guest speakers.
Okay.
And the other local author, I just wanted to hold up her books, if I may. She lives right around the corner from the library, and her name is Mary Ann Tyrone Smith. And, when people talk about our local authors, of course, Randy Wing White comes to mind. And we want them to know that we have some wonderful local authors. I mean, obviously, he's a tremendous writer.
Right.
But we also have some right here living on our island. And Mary Ann just gave me this little note on my way down. This book is the first of the Poppy Rice mysteries. So she does write mystery. And Girls of a Tender Age. She just did a presentation at the library yesterday.
Okay.
Speaking of that, we have many speakers and classes that are offered at the library free of charge. You don't have to have a library card. You don't have to be a member. Most of them are drop-in.
Wow.
And let me just show you the book, Monica. And the sweetest thing about this book, in addition to the beautiful pictures, she dedicated it to Dr. Hummerding, our former director. Without him, she would not have written it. He gave her the encouragement, to do so, and it's a beautiful tribute to him.
I mean, they all look amazing.
Yeah.
But that is a great picture, and I'm sure it's full.
And we will be
more of those.
serving refreshments. So
Okay.
we hope, and it's open to the public. We hope everyone joins us on January 27th at 5:30 for these two great speakers.
And how much does it cost to become a friend of the library?
You can get a single membership for only $15 a year.
Can't beat that.
Families $25, lifetime $250. So after I did a couple single years, I'm like, I think this is a no-brainer. I went for the $250, and that's lifetime, and I hope it's a long lifetime.
Well, I'm sure it will be. And like you said, the library has a lot to offer, and that building is amazing.
Absolutely beautiful. People don't realize you can fax, you can scan. We have public computers. We have free Wi-Fi. We have quiet rooms that people can rent if they need to work in a quiet space.
Quiet room to just sit in.
We have a notary. Our director's a notary, so you can come in and have things notarized. We have story hour, preschool story hour every Wednesday at 10:30. We have a used bookstore on the 3rd floor. So many of our visitors want to read while they're here. They don't have a library card, so they can come in and buy different books, used books in our 3rd floor used bookstore. And what they don't realize is for $10, you can get a library card that's good for 6 months. So even if you're here for 2 weeks, get that library card, and you can get DVDs, CDs, books, anything you want.
Well, that's amazing. I know you also wanted to mention that it's coming up on the 1st anniversary.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
So that's going to be a tough.
It is. This is actually the weekend. But
Yeah.
The actual day of the horrific crime was January 20th, 2019. We miss him dearly.
Mm-hmm.
Cletus has done an amazing job stepping in because those were big shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And we still get tributes coming in. And as people come back to the island who haven't been here for a year, they feel that sense of his presence. They miss him, as we all do. That library wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for Dr. Hummerding.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. I did my little notes, but I tried to get everything in.
About maybe the bench?
Oh, yeah. So yes, thank you. Some of the monies that have come in Dr. Hummerding's memory, we have used to create a butterfly garden. He was so into natural vegetation. In fact, if you come to the library, that's all that's planted there. So we created this area, a quiet area outside, and we were going to purchase a bench. And AMI Kids, which is located on Main Street across the bridge, it's an alternative school.
Mm-hmm.
And I met up with a director one day, and she said, we really want our kids to get out in the community and do things for people. So every Friday when we're setting up for a book sale, they bring 4 students over to help us put the books out.
Great.
And on their own, with the shop teacher, Mitch, they created the most beautiful bench, and it's in memory of Dr. Hummerding. And again, if you've never been there, you have to see the library, take the elevator to the 3rd floor, because you'll miss the 3rd floor by steps. You have to use the elevator. The shaft, the way it's painted is beautiful. Everything. It's like an art museum.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk through and go on the outer side of it, there's so much artwork. We have an artist of the month that displays on the 3rd floor. And I mean, I can go on, but we only have limited time. We also have a cafe on the 3rd floor.
Hey.
Kevin is serving coffee this morning at the book sale. So come one, come all. And
remind us, the book sale is today?
Today and tomorrow, 9 to 2.
Okay.
And there's something for everyone.
And do you accept donated books?
We absolutely do.
So people can, after they read them, give them back and let somebody else have a crack at
it. Take them to the 1st floor desk, and they will graciously accept them. And if you need a receipt, we can write a receipt for your taxes.
Anything you have to add there?
No, I love reading. You know me. I read all the time.
Yes, you are an avid reader.
I think I've read every James Patterson book that's ever been put out. I'm reading a spy book right now. I love Russian spy novels. This one's not a novel. This one's about real spy.
And actually,
spies.
you're due to edit down some of the stuff that you have, so we could
I don't
bring
buy
it down.
I don't buy books anymore.
I know,
buy
but
them
you
on
still
Kindle.
have a lot left
Yeah.
that you could
I have
share.
all the
They
Vince
kind of
Flynn.
grow on you.
Yeah, they
I
do.
have all the Vince Flynn books still. I can't get rid of those for some reason.
Why? Are you
Because
going to
he
read
died.
them again?
He died in his 40s. But and I don't think I've ever bought a James Patterson book. I think I've just read them all on the Kindle now. It's just so easy. So anyway,
Yeah, but I still like
enough about me.
some people. Like I want the actual book in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Now,
I
do you
like it.
do you guys get books like? How soon do you get a new release out?
If you come in and you have a library card, you can fill out a little slip of paper at the first floor desk, write down the title of the book and the author, and within a month,
Okay,
we generally can get it.
cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
All
Jen.
right, well,
you're the best. We love
thank you
We
so
love you
much
coming
for
on.
coming
heading
down.
back to the book sale.
All right, I know we got to let you go
I know,
so that
I
you can
know.
go sell some
Thank
books.
you so much for having me.
You're
Thanks.
very
Anytime,
welcome.
Jan.
Anytime.
Jan
right.
Flemming from the library, everybody. Thank you so
Yay!
much.
Thank you.
All right, before we bring Bill on, we're going to tell you about the Fort Myers Tiki Tours, one of our sponsors here. It's a little too chilly
me
for me to be out on the boat right now.
Oh my
It's-
Lord!
You know,
You're such a
when you
big
get up and
baby.
it's windy and 65, that's not Florida weather.
Yeah.
That's like Carolina weather. Fort Myers Tiki Tours is where you want to check out, folks, when you get a chance. 239-887-0042. And they have sunset tours, dolphin cruises, birthday parties, anniversary cruises. All you need to bring is your pretty smiling face, a little bit of alcohol, maybe some food, and
Yeah.
that's it.
They
have
provide the boat and the captain.
the Coast Guard certified captain.
Well,
they have
yeah.
all the safety gear in case you
It
fall
can't
off.
just be someone who is wearing a captain hat.
If you fell off one of those things, would you just be able to stand up?
Well, it depends on how far out they
I
are.
don't think they go very far.
I think one of our listeners posted a picture from her place where she could see somebody going out on the tiki
Yeah, that was
tours.
cool.
It looked fun.
Yeah, and the pictures look pretty cool if you can see any of that
Yeah.
on the Facebook. So 239-887-0042. Tell them tell them Beach Talk Radio sent you. You won't get a discount, but at least they'll feel
We'll
like they're
appreciate it.
at least they'll feel like they're spending their money wisely. I mean, and you don't know what it costs to be an advertiser on this show. I mean, it's really, it breaks the bank. It's so much money.
Oh my Lord.
So please tell them, even if you're not going to go out on the boat, just call them and tell them you heard the ad on Beach Talk Radio, and that would be much
we
appreciated.
would appreciate it.
So you got your football picks ready?
I do. And you said something about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
that?
Whitney Houston, which was a disgrace.
I don't think that's a disgrace.
Okay, we'll talk about that after we
Okay.
talk to Bill.
All right.
So
Good
Bill
morning.
Veach is coming on.
I'm going to pop out.
That's
and
right.
Let you
Come
do
on
your
over, Bill.
job.
Take one more seat over, Bill, and grab that microphone. Now, this one's the one that's on. There we go. Okay. If you want headphones, you can even have headphones. I mean, there's nothing wrong with pink, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Veach. How you doing, Bill?
Morning.
Bill is running for the Fort Myers Beach Town Council, and I have to tell you, it was a little bit of a surprise. It came out of the hiding in the weeds there, and then decided you were going to run. I'm sure you were thinking about it a lot longer.
Well, I think one of my superpowers is procrastination, and so that really came into play for this.
So who is Bill Veach? Tell the people that are watching and listening who Bill Veach is.
Okay, in a nutshell, I was raised in Colorado, and I lived in Colorado and Utah and New Zealand and Wyoming before moving here. So we moved from 6,300 feet elevation to 6. Bit of a change. I've got degrees in electrical engineering, technology, and computer science. Started a business, built it up. Started in my garage, sold it. We moved to Wyoming to be close to my mom when she was ill, and then when she passed away, we could go anywhere. And we had come down here to look at foreclosed property, and didn't really like Florida before we found Fort Myers Beach, and just loved Fort Myers Beach. Loved the little neighborhood we were in, and the neighbors.
And so, how long have you been here now?
10 years.
10 years. And when did you start getting involved in the local politics?
But like any good husband, as soon as my wife suggested I get out and volunteer in something. So it was like maybe we were here a year or two.
Okay, so you've been involved for 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, I think I've been the chair of the Marine Resources Task Force for probably 6-7 years.
And you were on other committees as well.
I was the vice chair of the Public Safety
Talk
Committee.
about all your local political experience.
Well, I started out with Marine Resources Task Force, and I wanted to volunteer. So I originally wanted to get on the Community Resource Advisory Board back when Miffy was the chair, and was told it was full. And then I asked Michelle Mayer, where do they need people? And she said the Marine Resources Task Force. So I volunteered for the Marine Resources Task Force. I was appointed. And then, like in the second meeting a bunch of people who were on the committee were leaving, and I was appointed chair.
Okay.
And then I was also the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee. I served with Bruce Butcher on that. He was a chair. And was the chair on the Community Resource Advisory Board. And now I'm the vice chair of the Community Resource Advisory Board and the chair of Marine Resources Task Force.
Okay, so why did you decide to run for town council?
You know, it seemed like a good time. You know, being involved with two committees, especially for a while I was chairing both committees, it was quite a bit of work. And, you know, I just feel it'd be more effective maybe being on the council. You know, and even though the councils have been very open to the presentations that we've done for our committee, we try not to waste their time. Still having a vote is important, and being closer means you can get more done. Because if you come from private industry, you find that working in government is painfully slow. And so I think maybe being in chamber will help get some better things done quicker. The other thing is there's a lot of things that we've been involved with, both the Marine Resources Task Force and the Community Resources Advisory Board, which are going to happen here over the next few years. Part of that is they're going to redo this Times Square area, and then, you know, you work down here. This is your office. It's a great area, and you know, but it could use a little dressing up. There's also the Bayfront Plaza down there, which is really underutilized and can become quite a gem. And now we own the entrance to Bay Oaks down there, which has a lot of potential. So I'd like to be a part of seeing those be done in a creative, not monotonous, boring kind of way.
Okay, so you brought up Bay Oaks, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. What is the future of Bay Oaks? What is your plan or proposal, or what do you support for Bay Oaks? The building's, from what I understand, it's kind of falling apart, needs work. You can't get to it, or you can get to it, but the marketing's been poor. Not a ton of people use it. So what's the plan for Bay Oaks?
You know, that is a really good question. And, you know, to tell the truth, I don't know. Now, I go to Bay Oaks quite often. You know, I go out there for classes and hit the gym, and it's a ways off. And, you know, people come here for the beach. So trying to attract anybody from off the island to come here to go off the beach is a hard sell, because they don't have to wait in traffic to go somewhere inland. There's a lot of potential there. The layout is a little weird because you have to walk down a ways to get to the main building. There are some other things that could be done there, but I'm just not sure everything can work out, because, like, okay, the Anchorage Committee really wants more facilities to do their thing. Bay Oaks is proposed to do that, but you're all bound in by the Matanzas Pass Preserve, so there's really no way to get access to the dinghies easily to use Bay Oaks. I've seen them wanting to add a few things and make it a little more interesting, or even rearrange things, but honestly, I'm not sure what the future of Bay Oaks. I would like to sit down and talk with BORCAB, talk with the people who are really involved to get their ideas, and I've seen some of the drawings, but honestly, it's a wide open book.
Okay, do you think that Bay Oaks, the beach needs Bay Oaks, or could the area be put to better use?
Well, you know, it's important for some aspects, because it is a bit of a community gathering spot. I mean, if you go, like, my dad lives in a, you know, it's not a gated community, but it's a little golf community, and they have all these public facilities. So they have places where you can go. They have a woodworking shop, they have tennis courts, they have pickleball, they have a golf course, they have tennis courts, and all those things are important for their sense of community to get together and do things. When I do go to Bay Oaks, particularly in the season, there's usually the same guys out there playing softball, they're out there playing bocce ball. You know, it may not be a large number, but for the people who do use it, it's a very important part of our community.
Okay, the light situation on Estero Boulevard, what's your solution?
That, again, is, you know, that's one of, you know, I'm an engineer by training, and that is the type of problem that really make engineers wake up in the morning, because the white lights that they're proposing, and this is not like there's not some kind of federal program where they get free lights from some grant or something. This is just what FP&L is offering, and FP&L will save money because they're more efficient to use. They don't need it as much maintenance. Our lights are old. They're all different colors. They're all different types. But these lights that they're proposing, and FP&L does this. They're like a they think that one thing was going to work for everybody. They're like a menu with one item. And the lights they're proposing are 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Kelvin, which is the same between moonlight and sunlight. So they're the worst color temperature for turtles, for sea turtles. Now, we are a nesting area for sea turtles. We are legally obligated to not, cause them harm. And these lights would do that. There would be a glow that's approximate to moonlight. I've been out on turtle releases, and on a dark night, it's difficult, even under ideal conditions, to get the turtles to go the correct way. If you had a moonlight glow from the opposite side, it's going to be a problem. Now, the other problem is if you go with the lights that the turtles can't see, they don't throw as far, so you need a lot more lights. What FP&L offers is like a ridiculous idea that's like $7 million because they want to charge $15,000 for every new light for every pole to put it in. And then a higher monthly cost. So it's a very difficult problem. I think the solution lies in some kind of compromise. I think that, putting white lights down that you have to turn a lot of them off creates blindness because your pupils constrict when you have the white lights. As soon as you leave the white lights and go to a dark area, it takes a while for them to adapt and you'll have blind spots. So it can be more dangerous having intermittent white lights than it can having no lights at all. So it is an interesting problem. I don't think that all of the options have been pursued. I think that jumping onto this white light thing, though, I understand that it's an opportunity to do something now, but I don't think there's no right time to do the wrong thing. But I think that doing the white lights is a simple solution, but I think it will be a headache in the long run.
So it sounds like we're in a situation now between humans and turtles. That's where we're stuck because the cost to protect the turtles is sky high, and the cost to protect the humans is lower, but you can't protect the turtles for that price.
It's a trade-off for the three, like you said, the 3 points. Is
it really a trade-off, human life compared to a turtle?
No, but you have the turtles, and you have a legal obligation to the turtles. You have humans, and you have money. Those are the 3 things. But there are other things we can do, I think, to mitigate some of the risks that have not been done. And one thing is focus your lights on the congested areas, on crosswalks, and then those where you push a button and lights flash to let you know someone's in the crosswalk. I think those are very effective. So you can do some things besides lights to really augment safety. It's not all about lights. And again, you have to turn if there's a light that's visible, even it doesn't have to be directly visible, even the glow. Because I live on the beach, my lights have to be turtle-friendly wavelength and they have to be shielded. It isn't one or the other. And so if you have to turn off lights, you are going to diminish safety for 6 months of the year. So even the white light is not an ideal solution for humans because you just can't keep them on all year round.
Next topic. Do you think Fort Myers Beach needs to be rebranded, and would you have voted for the $65,000 contract for RMA?
It seems kind of excessive. I guess the proof will be in the pudding and to see what they come up. I know that branding is one of these things that has been holding up a lot of things. Like, something I'm really terrible about is things like colors, logos. If you're going to do a lot of investment in something, you have to build on some kind of base, and the branding comes down from that. We are a real tough thing to brand. And, you have to think, what is branding for, right? Branding is really for visitors. I think people on the beach know who they are. They know what we are. But it's a marketing tool to get away, to define who you are, so people want to come here and visit and come here and spend their money. So it's really a very pro-business thing. $65,000, I don't know where all that money goes to, what's really involved. But if it really works for marketing, then it will probably pay for itself for the town businesses.
Well, the lines to get on the beach now can go all the way back to the fire station, if not further. If the rebranding is about bringing more people to the beach, how many more people can you put on the beach? I mean, it's Fort Myers Beach. You think, obviously there are people out there that think that Fort Myers is confused with Fort Myers Beach. I didn't hear that until I heard local politicians talking about it. I'd never heard that before. People know that the beach is where the sand is. They know which way the beach is. I don't understand what you're going to brand it to, unless it's a gigantically bigger picture than just figuring out how to get more people to the beach.
Well, I have to disagree with him at one point because I do travel a lot, and I was just just out in Arizona for my dad's 85th birthday, and I was in Utah to do some skiing with a nephew. And I met people who have a connection with Fort Myers. And I'll tell them I'm from Fort Myers Beach. And they go, oh, I've been to Fort Myers. And I said, well, so have I, but I'm from Fort Myers Beach. We're quite a different town than Fort Myers, and I get the confusion all the time. But I don't think they're talking about changing the name. I think this is really about, I've also gone and I've, played guitar like open mics, and I have a song about Fort Myers Beach. And
sing a little.
And I have, I'll bring my guitar sometime.
Oh.
But anyway, it just talks about a day, young people, what they come to Fort Myers Beach, even about traffic and what there is to do here. And I sung that. It's kind of an upbeat song. And a guy told me, boy, obviously you've never been to Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach is about drugs and college kids getting drunk and falling out of balconies. So that's the image that we have with a lot of people.
Well, there's only one place on the beach that's familiar, that gives us that reputation. And I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
I can guess.
Okay. Does Fort Myers Beach need a PIO?
A PIO?
Yep.
What does that mean?
A public information officer.
Public information
they have
officer.
RFPs out for a PIO that they're going to hire.
There's a bit of a hole in what the town does. And we don't really have much of a social media or a web presence. There's a website, the Community Resource Advisory Board, a mock app, and the app does things like tells you where the nearest bathroom is, because there's really there's no way to know where a public bathroom is. So I think there's probably a need. I think that job right now is being done by other people, but the town could probably benefit from that.
So what is your plan for the Florida Bridge?
The traffic right here.
Right. A bunch of things on the table to get that fixed, I guess, or changed so that it runs smoother. What do you support?
Well, I think when you're talking about traffic, and if you've been around for a little while, you realize traffic is probably worse during the weekdays here because of all the construction, all the people that are working on the island, and I don't think practically there's any way that you're going to alleviate the traffic situation entirely. I think that people blame this stoplight here for traffic, but when I get past the stoplight, I'm crawling all the way past the Landing Kai area because that's where a lot of congestion is. That's where you get the pedestrian traffic conflicts. I think it would be they could certainly dress up the entry to the island. They could make it divided, make it a little safer to cross. I don't see it being a real solution for traffic. You can't put a roundabout there. They said there's not room. I think the only way to really help with traffic is to come up with a dedicated trolley line. Because I think the only way you're going to get people out of their cars is if they're sitting there for 45 minutes watching trolleys go by in a lane. Other than that, there's really not much you can do because you can't, unless you go through an eminent domain, the heck out of the downtown area and make this into a boulevard for traffic instead of what makes our island great, the people, then I think that we're kind of stuck where we are.
And they're putting up a second traffic light down there on Estero, not too far from the Lani Kai, but before the end of the year.
Crescent Beach, right?
Yep.
Or Crescent Street.
Right.
And, how
does that help?
Well, it probably helps if you're turning onto Crescent Street.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it hurts, because, sometimes if you pulse traffic like that, then you'll get pedestrians an opportunity to cross when there's not a lot of traffic.
Did you agree with the town raising taxes? Would you have voted for it?
I think that the taxes, the property taxes, supply I think it's 15% of the town budget. I mean, we pay less in property taxes than we do for the library. We pay, it's like a half or a third than we pay for the fire department. So I think that, the property taxes is probably a bit of it's a small burden for the big tax picture. I don't exactly know where it's going, but I know that they've had to build up the reserves. I'm a fiscally conservative guy. I don't borrow money I don't have personally. And so I think that if they're building up reserves and getting in a stronger position, then I think that's a good thing.
So yes or no? You would have voted yes or no?
I honestly am not that up on the exact vote, so I can't say.
Are you in favor of 3 terms for the council members or this referendum that's going to be voted on for 4?
Oh, the 3-year term versus the 4-year term?
3-year terms, yeah.
I think I prefer a 3-year term. I don't know if I would have signed up to run if it was in 4 years. And I know that's a risk. I also, the thing about March versus November, I think the reason why they have the election in March, even though it's an odd time, is because that's when a lot of the part-time residents are here. If you have it in early November, I know most people now vote, they vote online or they mail in their votes. And so I'm really not sure how that would affect the number of people to vote, but they originally moved it to March to give more people a voice.
What is your number one issue?
Boy, that's a tough one. There's so many things. I think that probably number one thing is to not lose sight of what makes Fort Myers Beach really a great place. There's so many things here. I mean, I'm completely in love with the island, and not just the downtown, the people. I love the nature. I'm just fascinated with the science of what goes on. Being backed up by the preserve. I think my number one thing is to not screw up what works. We can go forward, but there's a lot of really good things, and working in haste could create a lot more problems than you would solve by whatever you're trying to force through.
Other than that, what's the next issue? Give me a real issue. That wasn't really a real issue.
By issue, I assume you mean something that's got to be
something going on in the town. Something that you're running for a reason.
I'm running for a reason, but the biggest probably reason is I want to see. I'm a fairly creative guy, and I want to see this downtown redevelopment done in a way that really speaks to everybody. And I think that's you're looking for an issue, but I think there's going to be a lot of issues that arise from that. There's a lot that's going to be a part of that. I travel a lot. I've been to, I think, 140, 150 different countries. I've seen what people do with their public areas that work, and I think there's an awful lot of potential here to really make this shine. And that's probably my number one reason for running.
Okay, so is the town too heavy-handed with code violations? Do you hear people complaining about that? Or are they complaining just to complain, or is that a real issue?
I think that, the town for when I've been here, to me, it's always been a place where they have lots of ordinances that aren't enforced. I mean, a lot of people don't even understand that the law is you should have your dog on a 6-foot non-retractable leash. Everybody and their brother has retractable leashes. Yesterday, I was nipped by a dog on a long retractable leash.
You okay?
Yeah, I think I'll live. But, so there's, and, you're not supposed to drink on the beach. Go down to Sunset. You see everybody doing that. So I think there's probably been a lot of people who are used to ordinances not being enforced, and then it's a bit of a shock when they're actually enforced. And I understand that, you're used to doing something one way, it's difficult to do another. But when you have I know that the short-term rental is kind of a big thing. But if you're renting a place, your place is next to people who are either renting or living there. And you have an obligation to be available in case there's a problem and try to solve the problem with people you're renting to. I mean, that makes common sense.
Okay. So you think the town manager is doing a good job? How would you rate him on a 1 to 10 scale?
From what I see, I think he's doing a good job. I think that he brings a lot of money into the town. I think he knows how to get grants for things. Okay. And so I think that financially he's been he's gotten a lot of things in the town. I think he's been around a lot, and he knows very practical things. So I like Roger. He's a bit of a hands-off kind of a town manager, but I think that I think he's doing a fair job, compared to what he past.
If you were not running for office, what 3 people would you vote for?
Well, I've met Jim a little bit. I think he's a very astute politician. He's been around politics.
Jim Matterholt.
Yeah, Jim Matterholt. I know Dan Allards is a nice guy. We kind of share a lot in common as far as enjoying technology and that kind of stuff. I think that his views to me are a little bit extreme, wanting things like put bathrooms in residential areas and allow e-bikes on the beach. I know Forrest Critcher pretty well. I know that the one. I don't know about any conflicts potentially with the Baptist church he might have had, but I know that he is very loyal to the armed services, and one of his driving reasons for getting involved is to get a memorial to the armed services. He's a nice guy. And I don't know if I really know many of the other people running.
Okay. So what was the other question that Margaritaville, what's your stance? What has your stance been on that since this whole thing started from day one?
Well, I think, I would not go out of my way to try to overturn what previous council has done. They voted unanimously. I think, there will probably be some issues coming up. They'd probably be minor. And I think, just to work conscientiously and logically with them to get things done. I think it's, it's going to go ahead. I think a lot of these lawsuits are just more vindictive than they are really aimed at stopping it. They probably would like to stop it, but I doubt they're going to. So, I think it should go ahead. My preference personally, the first one was a little large. The seawall gave me some concerns, mostly because I think that I don't think they could really keep the sand where they said they're going to keep the sand. I do like the mom and pop feel of Fort Myers Beach. Some of my favorite things sitting here, around here, you see these things that are, they're run by residents or people who are close by. I think it's a great part of Fort Myers Beach. But that said, I didn't buy the land. When you buy the land, you can pretty much say within reason what you're going to put there. So, I think now that it's gone down this far down the road, I would just work to facilitate getting it done in a fair and logical way.
And you come to the council meetings and you do your reports pretty regularly from the committee meetings that you chair or that you attend. What is your opinion on how this council is doing?
I think the council's great. I've seen different councils. Sometimes you'll read some sensationalized news and you'll see things like, they'll talk about all these arguments and that kind of stuff. But, they walk into the meetings and they like to be together. Sometimes they disagree on this. They do it in a, usually in a very congenial and respectful way. And so I think this council is a good model. And some of the members, some of the outgoing members, Anita, she is such a people person. I'm really impressed with her. And, Joanne, with her just deep down, intelligence and logic into what's going on, I think they're both going to be missed on the council.
In 60 seconds, tell everybody why they should vote for you. I'm thinking compared to a lot of the other candidates I see, I'm a middle of the road kind of guy. I'm beholden to no one. I haven't taken any money from any of the big developers. I feel very passionately to preserve what we have. I realize that sometimes you have to compromise, and I think I'm a pretty middle of the road candidate. But since I've been here, I love to learn about things. I'm a very curious kind of guy. And the more I learn, the more I realize that there's a lot of things here that are very fragile and that we have to work to really protect. And water is one of the big reasons too. I've, as the head of the Marine Resources Task Force, we've been involved with this kind of thing for a while. In a lot of ways, we don't have much of a voice. We work very hard to try to set an example about how other communities should behave. And I think we'd like to continue that and to fight for what we have and to preserve what we have, including the water, the beaches, and the town. And finally, how can people reach out to you, find you, your campaign, donate to you if they like to, or just reach out and talk to you?
Well, it's a small town. Usually you just look around and find us. But I have an email address of record, billyveach@gmail.com. You're free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. You can come to any one of the committee meetings, and you can also talk there. Or if you see me on the street, walking on the beach, riding my bike, doing whatever, just, hey, say hi.
Bill, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate your time and good luck in the race.
Thank you, Ed.
All right. Bill Veach, everybody, running for town council. The election, by the way, this year is March 15th. And next weekend, we have Jim Matterholt. February 1st, Dan Allers. February the 15th will be Forrest Kritzer back again. And on February 8th, I kind of screwed them up there, but February 8th, these dates are correct. Will be Bruce Butcher. All that stuff will be constantly posted on the Facebook page. And don't forget, you have to vote in March, and you'll also be voting on the referendum, which will be to move the election to November and to also extend the terms from 3 years to 4 years. And before we go any further, dear, and before you do your ball picks, which I'm worried about making their bets with, if you experience some of the audio cutting in and cutting out, we'll be able to post the audio later on in the afternoon, so you'll be able to listen to the full interview without any audio interruptions of the interview we did with Bill. I know people like to be on the Facebook and watch things on the beach, but you'll be able to listen to the interview with Bill to help make your decision. And we're also going to have all of the interviews from all of the candidates posted to one page, so you can kind of listen to them whenever you want to and compare. And we did hear back, I don't even know if I told you this, I did hear back from Robert Brandt, who said he would come on the show.
Oh, the last I heard was it was questionable.
He
was
did respond.
Okay.
Oh, well, you saw then. He did respond. We just haven't figured it out. So that would mean that all of the candidates came on. So
see, there you go.
You never know. So I did, before we get to our closing argument, as they say in the courtroom, which you have been in so many times, I wanted to tell everybody about Chuckers at the Gulf Shore and the Cottage Bar. Now, I don't know. Are they going to have the fight tonight? I mean, I am not interested in that kind of fighting. But when Conor McGregor is on, I mean, it's just a show. McGregor. It's such a show. You have to watch it.
It is a show.
Shuckers
you
Restaurant.
either like them or you hate them.
Yeah, opens at 8 o'clock, and they close at midnight, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're right down the street from Pete's. They also have a happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, featuring discounted liquor, domestic and imported bottle, and draft beer. And, you know, they have all the football stuff going on tomorrow. And they also have a big night coming up, February the 29th. Our friends,
right,
Jay Allen and Kylie Morgan, will be performing at the cottage on February the 29th. I have to drink more beer before the show. And we want you to go on their website or on their Facebook page. You do have to buy tickets for that because they're big stars now, people.
That's right.
So they've made their way.
It's been so much fun and so exciting to see them both. It's been so quick in a year, too.
Yeah.
I'm sure for them, they've been at it longer. But for us, it's like, wow, look, boom.
And she's been out doing the iHeartRadio tour, which is really, it's got to be nuts. I mean, you're going to all these little towns and you're performing in these tiny little restaurants or bars. And maybe she loves it. I mean, I don't know. It's just she's working her butt off to do it.
And she's got a lock on that.
Yeah, and her last video that she was talking about on the Facebook was that she's getting ready to release a radio song. So she must have written a new song and getting ready to put that out there. So we're looking forward to hearing
Both
her.
of them are super sweet. And she's a phenomenal yoga instructor.
Really?
Yes.
I love yoga.
Yes.
You
were not invited to the yoga class.
Speaking of yoga, our daughter's friend did a little yoga, right?
Yes.
And it didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
Well, Jilly was doing some kind of
Daily.
backyard. She likes to do some backyard. Our daughter likes to do some backyard yoga and videotape it. And then Daly tried it. And
poor thing. Yes.
Didn't
and
go
she
well.
fell and she really hurt her back. So we wish her well. She's on the mend. And I mean, it just was one of those 1 in a million chances. And unfortunately for her, it didn't go well.
And
but
you know
she's
what that means?
Getting better.
Never try yoga at home alone.
Well, yeah.
Unless you have some proper instruction on it. So anyway,
anything can happen.
You see all the putt-putting going on in the
Yeah.
background here. I know if you folks maybe can't see it, but both of the Margarita and Pete's.
Unless they have a fisheye view.
Right, they're getting the practicing, I think, because it starts at 10 o'clock. So I don't know if you can still come down and register, but why not come down and watch? It's like watching the Masters on TV. It's the same kind of thing, except for with a little alcohol thrown in.
A little bit different.
All right, so tomorrow we have 2 killer games.
You're not going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Okay, let's start with that. This is why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has zero credibility because, you know, it really shouldn't be called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It should be called something else because Whitney Houston got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, that's not rock and roll. Nobody can make the argument in the least that there's any kind of rock and roll coming out of her.
I don't know. I think it's more music.
Okay, well then
I don't know that it's genre specific.
It's rock and roll, dear. That's not rock and roll. That's
but I don't know if they make it.
Well, clearly not. I mean, who do you pay off to get that kind of? I mean, Pat Benatar didn't get in, and Whitney Houston got in. How do you explain that? Does that make any sense?
They're both great artists. They're both great artists.
I'm not arguing that, but it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, do you know who's voting?
I don't know who's voting. I just saw the news.
It's an international group of people that votes.
Well, they're dummies. I mean, how can you make?
It's our current
if you
inductees.
ask 10 people that listen to rock music, if Pat Benatar or Whitney Houston should go in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what do you think? It'd be 10 out of 10 that would say Pat Benatar.
Well, apparently not because there was other people that voted.
Sing a little ditty from one of Whitney Houston's rock songs.
Oh, I can't sing. I can't
that's
sing
besides
at all.
the point because you can't even think of one.
And it's not a popularity contest. Now, I will say, so I'm going to ask you and see, do you know who T-Rex is?
Yeah. Bang a gong. All right.
Anything else?
They're not really, no. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
They got in this time. Yeah.
Okay, well,
They were
that's a
inducted
rock
with
song.
I know, but
Well-
it's just
That's Whitney Houston. We'll always love you. And she sang the national anthem once, right? I mean, that's her claim to fame. 2 songs.
oh my Lord, she's got a ton of songs.
I don't think.
And
All right, that's the only song anybody knows, and it's not a
No,
rock
dear,
song.
there's a
It's
lot
like a ballad. What rock
whatever.
station that you ever listened to played that song? 0. Okay. Anyway, so who else didn't get in? There was somebody else that didn't get in there. Oh, Todd Rundgren's not even in because Whitney Houston
Oh my
elbowed him out.
Lord.
All
I don't
right.
know. I didn't write down all of the people that got in. There was 5 or 6.
So-
it wasn't a ton.
But there's arguments about this every year. There's like I think rap bands in there like Run DMC, which I mean maybe Run DMC better than Whitney Houston, that's for sure.
Well, is it rock or isn't it?
That's a good question. I mean, Run DMC
I mean,
really
if
isn't
you-
rock unless they're playing with Aerosmith. Well, they have an Aerosmith song, right? So let's get back to the local real quick before you do your picks and we sign off. So it was so interesting last week. You started asking about the Fort Myers Beach app out of the blue. You just started wondering what the hell was going on with the app because we had Becky on months and months ago, and we hadn't seen the app. And so I just happened to be doing nothing at home during the week, and the
As usual.
committee that worked on the app that Becky's on and a few of the other people are on talk about the app, and they start talking about, hey, why the hell hasn't the council approved the app? And so I posted what they said on our Facebook page, and then Joanne got on the Facebook page, and so did Rexanne. Rexanne said, these are 2 council members for anybody that doesn't know. Rexanne said she didn't even know the app was ready, and then Joanne got on there and said that there's the whole rigmarole about things going on. But Joanne said that they're moving forward on the app. So while it's not ready yet, I guess Becky still owns it because she's basically volunteered her time to put the app together. But they kind of felt like nobody was paying attention to them.
Well, it sounds like there was a little bit of a misunderstanding,
Miscommunication,
about
So-
it. But I mean, I hope it will get out because when we saw it, and I don't, you
Looked
can't
great.
see it. It looked great, and there was a lot of information. And this time of year would be a
Yeah.
great time
With the
to get
season
it out
coming up.
there. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Sheena said she's the chair of that committee, said she was going to go to the council meeting and make a presentation, or all the committee chairs, she's the chair of that committee, can go to the council meetings and give a report. And honestly, they really weren't doing that. I don't think they were doing that. So
You don't
maybe
think
it's part on the committee. So maybe it's part on them too. I mean,
well, this in any event,
That's
it's
all.
going to be
You know what?
moving
there's too many
forward.
committees. They need less committees.
Well, it's moving forward.
Yeah.
This is a unifying thing, not a divisive
Please.
thing.
All right, let's get to the picks. We're going to be
Talk
like
about
that.
divisive. Here we go.
By the way, let me remind everybody, I will be posting the interview with Bill in the audio form, so you can listen to it at your leisure on iHeartRadio or on Spotify or on our website or on our app. So it'll be up there. Last week we interviewed crap, I'm having a brain fart right now. Who was on last week? I completely forgotten. That's terrible. That's my fault. Who did we have on last week? Oh my gosh. Oh no, we had Dave Drum on. You couldn't remember either. You weren't jumping in there. Dave, I apologize. Dave was on last week. His interview's already up. And then next week we have
Sorry.
Jim Adderholt, then Dan, then Bruce, who Bruce was like he was at the last minute he jumped in the race, but he's going to be on the 8th, and then Forrest on the 15th. And the March 15th is your election, ladies and gentlemen. And now, what?
And when are you having the other guy on?
He hasn't gotten back to me yet on the date.
Okay.
So now the drum roll, please.
Huh?
Tomorrow's games.
Oh.
Are you ready? Tennessee and Kansas City is the first game you have to pick. Tennessee is playing at Kansas City. Kansas City with Mahomes at the quarterback,
I know.
MVP style quarterback. Tennessee is
Here's
kind of
the
on like
thing.
let me finish my intro,
okay.
dear. Tennessee is on like a Cinderella run with former Miami Dolphins quarterback, what's his name?
Ryan
Tannehill. Look at you. You're all about that. And I think this is going to spell the end of Tennessee, but let's see what the official call will be. I don't even know what the spread is on that.
Yeah, well, I think it's 7 maybe.
Okay, that's pretty good. Kansas City
I mean,
or
Kansas
Tennessee?
City is favored to
All right,
win.
Kansas City or Tennessee?
But I
Oh,
really
geez.
want Tennessee to win because
Oh,
they
please.
were the wild card. They don't
Yeah.
they're definitely the underdog, but they've been winning on the road.
Oh yeah,
So,
I haven't even looked that up. Look at you, you did some research on
I
that.
did.
Make
They've
your
won.
pick.
I believe they've won 3. I don't know. I want Tennessee to win, but I think the Chiefs are going to win. But I'm going to stick with Tennessee.
All right, she picked Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen. All
Who
right.
do you pick?
I say Kansas City by
I know.
21-28. They're going to crush them. It's
Last
going to
week's
be a
game
murder.
was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
You did too.
All
We
right,
watched it
so
together.
the next game is basically the Super Bowl. Green Bay against San Francisco. I mean, this is really this. I wish this was the Super Bowl. Nothing against Tennessee and Kansas City, but
They're
I
pretty
love
evenly
Brett
matched.
Favre, and it's nice seeing Garoppolo go from the cheaters over to San Francisco. Speaking of cheaters, we have a whole new another conversation about the Boston Red Sox being cheaters, but we don't have enough time for that because that would take forever. And it's going to be played where? In San Francisco. So I believe San Francisco is probably a favorite, maybe 3 points or something like that. You're going with the 49ers. You don't even want to do a little analyzing of it. You just want to jump right out there and say San Francisco.
I think that they're going to. It's been a long time since they went all the way.
Who?
San Francisco.
Yeah. I think I'll leave that one up to you. I don't know. That's kind of a draw for me.
They're pretty. No,
Okay.
you got to pick one.
What's going on down here? I am actually going to flip the camera
Fred
that way so you can see what's coming down. For those of you listening on the radio, we have what's the Flintstones? That is Bruiser, and there is Dan Allers, who's, by the way, running for town council. He's the grand poobah in the back there with the big giant blue hat on. So he's out kissing babies and playing golf and the whole thing. So, all right, so your Super Bowl is Tennessee and San Francisco.
Yeah, are you picking San Francisco or the Packers?
I'm going with the Packers. You can go with San Francisco. I'm going with the Packers. I'm a sentimental for Brett Favre. I'd like to see him in there, so I'm going with the Packers. You're going with Tennessee and San Francisco, so we'll bet $1 each.
All right.
All right, $1 each. All right, everybody, we appreciate you guys listening and paying attention to us and all that. And, you have to read your last ad like you always do about FMB Designs and Remodeling. We didn't have the opportunity to put the sign out today for Nikki, so go right ahead. Go right ahead. Do not pay attention to the Flintstones.
So FMB Designs, call them if you have anything that you need done around the house as far as new design, a redesign, adding on. You need your kitchen updated. They do a great beachy chic look. I'll tell you, she helped me out with some stuff, and then we had some friends over last weekend, and they walked into the house. Of course, we had it repainted, but Nikki had given me some ideas and brought some items. Thank you very much, because I have no design aesthetic. And people really looked at it and were surprised. And I think they were pretty sure I didn't do it on my own, not that I had a tutor. So thank you so much for that. Please give them a call. They will not
let you
disappoint.
Down. Right. So
I can't with all of this
I know,
going
I'm sorry. I didn't distract you this time. It's the Flintstones. What are they pushing around, some kind of stroller, or they got a whole cart full of things there.
They got they got the car.
This is the kind of fun people have on the beach, everybody. The Flintstone family. Oh no, some of the guys are dressed up like ladies. That is disturbing. Yep.
Trying
as
to
long
get
as
them
Dan's
to
not
come
dressed
over.
up like a lady. Okay. All right. By the way, I think Ray's corrected me. I think the election is the 17th, not the 15th. So anyway, it's a Tuesday. If you go to the voting booth on Sunday, there's probably not going to be anybody there. So, right? It's the Tuesday. I thought it was the 15th. Anyway, you'll figure it out. You don't need me to tell you when to go vote. So that's it, dear. Another great show in the books. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
We have to go
everything.
get some footage of that.
Yeah, we're going to see what's going on
Do a
there.
little after
And you
show
guys
show.
have a great weekend, and we'll see how the picks turned out. And if anything big comes up, of course, we'll be posting it on the Facebook. So enjoy your weekend.
Thank
great
you.
weather down here. We'll see you
Come on down.
1 week from today. Bye-bye.
Bye. got all my stuff.
Here, I got it.
Well, you told me